What's up, people? Happy 4th of July, 2023. I am out here in the shop, hanging out. Can you think of anything more patriotic than making a knife on the 4th of July? Give you a little rundown of the shop. It is a barn in my backyard. Yes, a barn. That is correct. Most people store lawnmowers, weed eaters inside. I have tricked it out into a little knife shop. Figured I would make a quick video of some of my knife stuff. Got all kinds of materials and rulers and protractors. Got some ferric chloride, a little butane torch, some leather dye, handle material, drill bits, got belts, got a little 1x30, a little 4x36, and a little oscillating spindle sander. That was a good tip from Eric over at Rivers Experience. Shout out to my boy. He makes some really good stuff. Got the little forge going right now. And we're heating up a San Mai. I've got 3-layer San Mai going in there. It is a 1080 core and 15 and 20 on the outside. This will be my second attempt at San Mai. The first one had some pieces left over from the very first one. Don't know if you can see that or not. Let me get over here. Get it in the light, get it to focus. Probably won't focus. You can kind of see some of that. Had fairly good success with it, but this one was 5 layers. Probably bit off a little more than I could handle, and I didn't weld the outside of it. I just kind of tacked the corners and then used borax like everybody else suggested to. And yeah, anyway, just didn't have great success with that. Had a lot of very small areas in the blade that had a lot of delaminations. They were very, very small, but yeah, just not a great success. So trying it again here with welding all the way around the billet, and got this knife looking much better. No delaminations. You can't even tell where one metal stops and the other one starts, so I'm assuming that's a good thing. Anyway, yeah, just thought I would make a quick video. Got the forge cooking right now. Getting ready to do some normalizing cycles before we quench. So I used just a couple pieces of angle iron welded together here. As a baffle to kind of even the heat out. So we're gonna do 3 normalizing cycles per the usual recommended from people around the globe, and then we'll go ahead and on the third one kind of keep it somewhat around 1500, hopefully. I don't have any fancy equipment. I am just a dude in the backyard in a lawnmower shed. So anyway, I got a little ammo can that I got some Parks 50 in, and we'll probably quench in that. I'll probably take some more shots here later, kind of afterwards, to see what it looks like, but thought I would throw this together. So I've got 1 normalizing cycle done. I'm about to do 2 more, but I figured I would try to capture on video pulling the knife out for the third one and dunking it in the oil, and that way you can kind of see, hopefully kind of the color of the metal and what it looks like, and you guys can post in the comments how it's way too bright or way too dark, because yeah, still I wouldn't say a noob. I've been doing it for a minute, but yeah, definitely not an expert by any means. But you know, hopefully by documenting the process, I will learn and other people will learn either a great technique or a bad technique or a so-so technique. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna get that going, and as soon as it's ready, I will turn the camera back on and we'll get this thing cooking, and we'll get her dunked and we'll get her skunked. Dunked and skunked. Dunked and skunked. So just ran back out to the garage where I had my work knife that I made. This would probably be something like maybe knife number 7 or 8. And this was after I realized, okay, can't make them out of rebar. Chop saw blades don't do. Railroad spikes, come on, we need to step our game up. So I made this one out of just 1080. And it's basically just kind of like I don't know what you call that, a Warncliffe, sheep's foot, something like that, but real simple, just cutting knife for work. I do a lot of boxes, do a lot of plastic straps to break open stuff, and it has been really great. And this is actually the first one I tried a hamon on, and you can kind of still see it. Now I use this knife every day, so I had a pretty decent polish on it at one point. If you could get it to focus here. Yeah, maybe not. Anyway, so yeah, I made this out of 1080. And let me throw it over here. Maybe it'll shine a little more. Yeah, you can kind of see it a little bit. That was a whole journey in and of itself. The hamon is not as easy to bring out as I was hoping. And in fact, you can definitely see the line there, but it's been used and abused. But anyway, yeah, I made this one at a 1080, just kind of a stock removal thing. I got some weird G10 that I put on here. It's like the laminated G10. Originally, I had this thing just smooth, and it was nice, and it had kind of a cool pattern, but it was just kind of bland looking. So I decided to do some Dremel work with it, kind of give it a weird rock texture. There's that shot from the side. It's actually super comfortable. It almost gives more grip, and it looks cooler. And then got a shot here of the first Maker's Mark. Just basically the mirrored F's for Frenchie's Forge. And then I got the new one here that my mother dearest helped me make on the Cricut. So it's kind of cool. It's got the sword going through, a shield, and then the F's. So I'm excited about that. It's pretty cool. And one of these days I'll make a video on how I do that. Although there's millions out there, I'm sure you can find one. It's just made mine out of a little bit of just some wiring and some alligator clips and a 9-volt, and make the current go through the blade, and you can etch it with salt water. But yeah, that's basically just etched into the metal. Really cool. So yeah, that one I'm really proud of. This is one of my first knives that I feel like was really solid as far as edge goes. It's still pretty sharp, and I haven't really messed with the edge too much. And I've had this one maybe a couple of months, and still cuts. So anyway, yeah, that was definitely a step in the right direction. Excuse me. So anyway, yeah, just thought I'd show that, and we'll show you guys some more stuff as I can think about it. And anyway, yeah, peace. So I just pulled the knife out for the second normalizing cycle, and I'm letting it hang and air cool hopefully get that metal grain structure to evenly disperse and become more normalized before we quench. But yeah, there's a good shot of the forge and the baffle, and you can tell that you get it kind of in the middle there, and it really does kind of evenly coat the heat in the blade, which I think helps quite a bit. So yeah, that was the second one, and on this next one, the last one, we'll hopefully pull it out around 15, maybe a little up higher or lower than that. I don't have any way to really truly gauge the temperature. And for people first starting out, I highly doubt you'll have anything as well, but we do have a magnet, we have our eyeballs, and you just try to get it close. Anyway, the other knife that I showed, my work knife with the Warncliffe and the rock pattern, that one, I did basically the same thing, normalized 3 times. Even though I didn't forge it, I still did the normalizing, and then did Parks 50 for the quench, and mainly got the Parks 50 for that one because of the Hamon, trying to get that very rapid quench, and yeah, came out pretty good. But anyway, stay tuned. I'll get back with you on the next one, and we'll get this blade quenched. All right, so here we are. We got the second normalizing cycle done. Just went to check it. It is now air cooled, so this will be the time that we heat it back up and dunk it in the oil. So typically what I do, especially when it's daylight outside, is I come and I will unplug my lights, and that kind of helps me gauge a little better the temperature and the color. And basically we'll keep my oil right in here, and it is open and good to go. Now it is a bit of a step from the forge over to the ammo can, so I definitely like to try to hurry up. I try to get from here over to here as quick as possible. It always seems to be a little hotter than it should be anyway when I pull it out, so in fact, that little bit of time it takes me to get from here to there actually might do me some good, so I'm not going in too hot. But I'm going to turn it back on, and once it gets up to temperature, I'll re-record, and hopefully I'll be able to hold the phone and my tongs and knife and give you guys a shot of that. Now, I don't think I'll be doing any editing. I'm just, you know, raw footage, and hopefully that will still work out, and hopefully I'll get a good shot of it, so we'll see how it goes. All right, I'm gonna bring it in here the first time and kind of show the color, and then I'll bring it back up to temp and we'll dunk it. So you can kind of see there, we're at basically a dull red, kind of transitioning into a bright red, and you can see the edge cools down pretty quick. It's just, I definitely ground it a little bit thinner than I wanted pre-heat treat, but I think we'll have good success. So let me heat it back up and we'll get her dunked. All right, it is back up to temperature. I just checked the magnet and it is not sticking, so here we go. So I'd say that was pretty good. Didn't have any fireballs. First couple that I did definitely had some fireballs, probably a little on the hot side. But because this one was a little bit thinner, decided, you know what, we need to try to keep it 1500 degrees or so. And I think that went pretty well. We'll see, hopefully here once I get done shaking it. See, some people pull it right out of the oil. I tend to continue to do it until it really cools down. Just kind of, you know, making sure that the whole knife cools pretty rapidly. Now, the first San Mai I did, as soon as I brought it out of the quench, you could see layers starting to bust apart kind of at the spine of the knife. Some of those little tiny delaminations really expanded a lot during the quench, which makes sense, I guess. You're transforming the grain of the metal at a really rapid pace, and I think that that is why I didn't have such great success with that one. Now that it's been in here a minute, let it drip dry, and yeah, we'll get it out, and I'll bring you back out and put the lights on, and we'll get a file to it and test it and see how it went. Alright, so we're back. We got the lights turned on. Just got a little shop rag here, just trying to wipe off some of these oils. That's about what it looks like there after the quench. I don't see any splits or delaminations to speak of. Everything looks pretty groovy. Yeah, so I would really like to know more about the decarb layer. You hear people talk about that after you quench. Maybe, from my understanding, it's putting it in the forge and you kind of have a layer on the outside that is what people call decarb layer, meaning what? That it doesn't have as much carbon. The carbon gets burned off, meaning it's not hardenable. I mean, I don't know. I guess I should do some more research on that, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and grab a file and see what we got. If I could find a file, that would be cool. I normally use a little chainsaw file. Let's see if it's hiding somewhere. It must be hiding pretty good somewhere. Try just a little round file. Here we go. So, got a little round file, right? So you can kind of see some of the scratches on the outside, but I think once you get through some of that layer on the outside, then maybe you're going to be reaching some hardenable steel. Like I said, this is pretty thin, probably the thinnest that I've gone pre-heat treat. So didn't really do it on purpose, just kind of wasn't paying attention and ground quite a bit off. I'm also trying the, this is a San Mai, so I wanted to make sure that the layers were kind of somewhat good of where I wanted them to be. And chasing that, I ended up grinding it a little bit thinner than I had hoped for, but anyway, yeah, so that's what we got. Kind of sounds maybe somewhat hard, as opposed to something like this, which is just a piece of rebar. You can kind of hear the difference. Actually, go down here, kind of bites, kind of that dull sound compared to this. So anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens. Also stayed relatively straight, which is good. I don't really see a whole lot of warpage or issues with metal bending. Anyway, so yeah, so I'd say for me that's a success. I really would like to know though your guys' take on the decarb layer. Somebody posted in the comments for me, what does that mean? Why does it happen? You know, I'm sure there's videos out there on that or information about that on the internet. But, you know, like I said, the whole point of me doing this is so that other people can learn, so that I can learn, and we could just share information, which is good for the craft. So yeah, anyway, we'll probably go inside and use the oven in my kitchen to temper it. I will probably do 400 degrees, kind of seems to be the norm, and probably let it soak for a couple of hours in 400 degrees, and then probably might do 2 cycles of that, maybe 1. Sometimes I do 1. I don't really know why. I definitely I want my blades to be as hard as possible without being too hard. And my thought process is doing 1 2-hour cycle as opposed to 2 will keep it a little bit on the harder side, especially since I'm still fairly new at heat treating. You know, I figure if I get it somewhat hard and then temper it with 1 2-hour cycle, it'll probably be harder than doing 2 2-hour cycles. So anyway, I'm gonna go throw that in the oven, let it chill for a couple hours in there, and then we'll get back and we'll grind some of this forged scale off of here and get it back to similar to where we had it before we put it in. I still got quite a bit of hand sanding to do. There's a couple of really good scratch marks from the 36 grit belt up at the top. I'll probably have to go ham on the hand sanding on that part, but yeah, anyway, thanks for hanging out.